Hello, everybody. It is Monday night, and you know what that means. It's time for some real talk. Um, and we have our cast here, um, minus Rob. He is visiting family, and he was not able to get a internet connection. So we will definitely miss him this week, and but he will be back next week. But we have me, of course, and I'll let the other two ladies introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Zen Maiden One, and welcome to Real Talk.
Hi, I'm Pamela, aka Her Heartstrings on the YouTubes, and welcome.
And she is better now. She is not like dying in bed anymore.
I had the flu. It was not fun, but I'm getting better.
And then we have a special guest, one of my favorites, and I know all of yours, Michael May.
Hello.
So, you're everyone's favorite. You do get around though, don't you?
Oh, I definitely get around, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, I am Michael May on Facebook and Michael VSG on YouTube, so.
So, in case anyone is not familiar with you, which I can't even imagine that not being possible, or that being possible, but why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, about your surgery, and just, who you are.
Okay. I had VSG surgery December 29th, 2012. Highest weight and surgery day weight was 407 pounds. On Thanksgiving of this year, I hit a normal BMI at 183 pounds, which is 224 pounds loss.
Awesome.
I'm married, 3 kids, 2 grandkids, self-employed, got all the craziness going on over here.
Okay, first of all, I have to say, there is no way that you are a grandfather. I'm sorry, but
yes.
There's no way.
I will be 40 this year in May, so I have a 21-year-old, an 18-year-old, and a 16-year-old, and my 21-year-old has blessed me with 2 grandbabies.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. Yeah, so tonight our topic is the mental part of weight loss, what nobody talks about. This, I think, was huge for all of us because, you always hear about the physical stuff. What are we eating? What are we not eating? What are we doing? Are we at goal? But what about the mental stuff? I think that a big part of this journey, this lifestyle that we've chosen is the mental. I think 90% of it is mental and 10% is the other stuff. I actually just had this conversation for like 2 hours the other day with Michael. He pulled me out of that hole, and so I think it's just really important for us to talk about that. So I know for myself, I'll start, and for myself, I'm 18 months out of surgery, and this has been a mental mind. It's screwed with my mind, and the food part, for me, the food part will always be an issue. I don't care that I've had surgery. The food is always an issue for me. I battle a daily mental battle with food. I can never, food never leaves my mind, because I'm thinking, how much can I eat? What should I eat? How much protein? How much water? Everything. So I'm just wondering, what are your guys' experiences? How do you guys feel when it comes to the mental part of your journey that you've dealt with? Let's start with Zen.
Oh, I've talked a lot about the mental part of my journey, and many videos of mine have focused on that. And I really think that it is the most important part of the journey, other than, of course, following the steps, the obvious steps that we must follow as weight loss surgery patients. And people that haven't had surgery follow, their rules too, whatever those might be for their particular plan. So for me, one of my biggest mental hurdles has been the expectation that I had for myself at the beginning, and how I was going to change my life and how it was going to go according to me. And when it didn't go according to my plan, then I became extremely disappointed in myself. Despite my efforts, I felt that something was just broken, and that it was hopeless. At different times, I didn't actually come on YouTube and talk about that, but in my own mind, I kept thinking, what is wrong with me that my result is not like everyone else's, despite the fact that I am like knocking myself out. So after a long time with that, I don't want to go in too much detail, but I ended up just having to put that backpack down and say, I have to just let that go and start living life. And so that's a beginning and a short
Right.
synopsis.
What about you, Pamela? How has the mental part of this journey for you been?
Well, I started back in August of 2013, and for the first few months, I was getting results, but I found myself really overly obsessing about what I was eating and my exercise and all that kind of stuff. And then towards the end of the year, which this happens every winter, my pain gets worse. I have chronic pain issues, and depression sets in and whatnot. And this whole year, I've been constantly fluctuating and not really getting results or lasting results, really. And it's made my depression worse. And I don't know. I just I watch everyone else, and I'm kind of like what Zen said, about you're not getting the same results that maybe other people are getting, or as quick or whatever. And I've been doing therapy and stuff towards the end of this year, and kind of finding out there's certain things that have happened to me in my past and it's made me kind of want to hold on to the weight. I want to not let myself lose weight. I don't know if I'm making a lot of sense right now, but I'm still kind of working through that, and kind of realizing I'm being very vague. Realizing, things that I need to do and steps that I need to take to continue going forward. But it's definitely a struggle. You think you're going to lose weight and everything's going to be, super, hunky-dory and happy. It's going to solve all your problems, and it's a mental roller coaster, I think, the entire way. And even after you hit goal, I think it's going to be full of ups and downs. But
Right. Yeah, definitely. And you, Michael, how has the mental part affected you in this journey?
Oh, where
I
do
know
I
you have
begin?
a lot
Okay.
to say about this one. We've talked about this.
I had mental struggles before I had surgery. I had mental struggles with my weight, and I had thought, okay, this surgery is, I'm gonna get surgery, and my mental struggles are gonna go away.
Yeah.
Boy, was I wrong. Um, it brought a lot of mental struggles to light, and the mental struggles is a daily, sometimes an hourly struggle with me.
Yeah.
In the beginning was, make sure I get my food in, how much protein, how much water, what can I do? Oh, I need to go exercise, and I got to the point where I obsessed over different aspects of this, such as tracking and exercise, to the point where it wasn't healthy. So I had to put the tracking away and just say no more. My struggle I'm struggling with now is more on my body image issue. I still look in the mirror and see someone that's a lot bigger than I actually am.
Right.
For an example, this past weekend, I was out with some friends, and I had mentioned that I needed a jacket for a party that we're going to, and he said, "Oh, well, you know, try on some of my jackets." And I look at this guy, and it's like, "Yeah, right. You are tall, lanky, skinny. There's no way your clothes are ever going to fit me."
Right.
And they did, and that is, it blew my mind. It threw me into, oh my God, am I really that thin? Do I, you know? And then I start comparing myself to different people. It's like, well, am I that thin? Do I really look like that? I mean, it's the mental part is, it's there, and it's daily. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
and still with the point of, I have to remind myself to eat, because I'm, you know, almost 2 years out, and I still have no hunger at all.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that, you know, I think that when it comes to, like, for myself, I think that when I was going through the whole process, because it took me 3.5 years to get surgery, and that's a lot longer than I think I've heard anyone have to go through to have surgery, just because the size I was, because I was 550 pounds when I went to um, my when I first saw the doctor. I was 550 pounds, and they looked at me and said, "You need to lose 200 pounds, or we can't do anything for you." And I cried, you know. But going through the whole process, like, I had to make myself believe that I was okay at 500 pounds. Because if I didn't get the surgery and I didn't save myself, then I didn't want to be disappointed. You know, I didn't want to be disappointed. But I convinced myself that I was okay at 500 pounds. But I wasn't, you know, I wasn't. I go back and I look at my videos, and I'm like, who is that person? Like, I feel so sad for her, you know, and the mental stuff has never changed for me. And that's one thing that really kind of irritates me, is that when you go through this whole process of having weight loss surgery or going through this weight loss, nobody ever tells you, you know, you're gonna need a lot of mental help. You know, you're gonna, the mental part is gonna be there. It's gonna be there. It's like they give you surgery, and then it's like, okay, you're on your way. You know, you come see us every few months, and that's it. And as long as you're okay to go through, you know, I knew what I was getting myself into. They want to know that I knew that I was going to have surgery, and what kind of surgery I was going to have, and the effects, and to make sure I had people who would support me. But then I had surgery, and then it's like, okay, now what? Where do I go? You know, I convinced myself that if I just lost 100 pounds, my life was going to be perfect. Well, guess what? I've lost 190 pounds, and my life still sucks some days. You know, I literally the other day, I don't know if you guys saw, but I had a video up, and I said that I felt like a weight loss surgery failure. Like, I just did. And Michael called me, and he said, no. He was like, no. And he pulled me out of that hole, you know, and stuff. And sometimes it takes other people who get it to say, no. You know, you look where you were, and you look where you are. And so this is a battle that I fight, you know, and I can imagine all our battles are different. But they're just, you know. So, I mean, I really would love to hear your guys' experience of what you have, you know, experienced, and, you know. And I'm sure other people, because, you know, I know that people are watching who are dealing with, I personally know a few people right now who are dealing with the mental stuff. I mean, I had someone message me before this show and say, I'm so glad that you're talking about this, because I'm dealing with the mental stuff, you know? And it's like we do and stuff. So, I mean, how do you deal with it? How do you deal with it?
I'll tell you how I sort of deal with it. I think there's a couple things that we should like go into maybe, and a couple of ways I look at it is not only the expectations that we set for ourselves, but going back when things start unfolding, and I call it unpacking the boxes from the attic. It's like going into an attic and opening a box and seeing what comes out. And as we are losing weight or going through the process, we are finding things about ourselves that we haven't addressed. And as we have to face each one of those, and most of the, depending how long we're obese, if it's strictly related to obesity, our feelings about it and our thoughts and experiences with it, some of us have been obese our whole lives, and some of us have not. And I'm one that has not been obese my whole life, but it changed my life after I had my first daughter, and I was never able to lose the weight, and then, gradually gained more weight, and so on and so forth. So my struggle started at that point in my life with obesity versus maybe someone else's started when they were a child. So they have more boxes to unpack because they have to get rid of all that junk, from their childhood and from their experiences as a teenager and on and on. Where that's what I talk about when I talk about it in my videos and how I deal with it. And I just wanted to bring those 2 points out, to see what y'all have to say about that.
What I've been battling my weight problem since I was a child. I was sexually abused as a child, and I think I've talked a little bit about it, but it just, I've actually, I've never been a writer or anything like that, but I just recently started a blog that has really helped me just get things out that I didn't even know were there, and it's just, food was like my friend, and it still feels like some days like it's my only friend, and so I've been battling this. I don't know what it's like to be a normal sized person. Like, I've been obese my whole life, so I don't know anything else. I don't know anything else. I was probably this size that I am right now when I had my son, and he's 19. So I've been battling this my whole life.
Yeah, I mean, I've been battling, this. I started really packing on weight in 3rd grade, and I was always the bigger kid than anyone else all through elementary, middle school, high school. And I look back now, and I thought I was huge and fat, and I look back now, and I was bigger than everyone else, but I wasn't as big as I thought I was. I graduated high school, and I was probably 10 pounds heavier than I am now. And I felt huge in high school. I felt big, fat, sloppy, I did, in high school. I remember, doing Weight Watchers in high school. And battling with food and eating my emotions because I was picked on because I was bigger. I remember driving to a Weight Watchers meeting and eating a jar of icing on the way to the meeting. Thinking, okay, well, I had a bad day, so I'm going to chug this down and go to a meeting. I remember one time we rearranged my bedroom, and we had to take my bed apart and had a water bed, and you got that cubby hole underneath the headboard. Well, it was cram-packed of candy wrappers and half cartons of ice cream, and you name it. There was food underneath there because I would closet eat, and then I would always tell everyone, hey, I'm fine with my weight. You know, I had that fake it till you make it attitude. And, you know, I remember telling a lot of people, hey, as long as I can water down the cookie aisle, leave me alone. I'm fine.
Yeah.
But inside, I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God, how do I stop this? I am dying. And, you know, and recently, what has helped me along the way is I've had to forgive myself for the way I treated myself. And, you know, that has really helped and has taken like a load off of me once I was able to forgive myself for what I did in the past.
Right.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And you, Miss Pamela?
When I was a kid, I always had like a little extra meat on my bones, but you know, like I got picked on and stuff. Kind of the similar situation where I looked at myself and I thought I was way bigger than I actually was. But I didn't start really packing on the pounds until like late high school, and then in my late teens, I got involved with an older, I guess, man while I was still in high school, and it was a very dysfunctional and unhealthy, like 3-year relationship. And I mean, I had some other issues that had happened when I was younger that I was kind of still holding on to, looking back now. But that relationship and that time in my life, like, really just broke me. And I don't know. I've still not really gotten over everything, and it's still trying to work through that. But that's like when I really started packing on the weight. And I don't know. And another thing is, you know, having to learn to like forgive yourself and not hold on to, you know, I shouldn't have done this, or shouldn't have done that, or like I should have started exercising then or losing weight then, blah, blah, blah. It's like you can't turn back time and whatnot, but I am working through those issues and trying to pick back up and start again.
Yeah. It's easy to hold on to all that. You know, I look at myself and you know, when I had my reconstructive surgery a couple of months ago, I looked at myself and thought, when the doctor showed me or sent me the picture of what he removed, I said, how could I have done that to myself? You know, so that really started me on a spiral down, you know, down. I mean, I was so hard on myself. I'm like, I did all this. Like, look at all this, and look what I still need to do because of the things that I did to myself. And of course, that made me feel worse about myself mentally. And how do you get through that? I've tried counseling, and there's never anyone that can talk to me about the food addiction, you know. It's always something else, like, where did it start? And it's like, I need these tools so that I can move forward in my life, because I feel like I'm like you, Pamela. I feel like I'm kind of holding on to this weight because I'm too scared to let go of it, because I don't know what the future is, or who I am in the future. Am I going to still be the same person? Are people going to like me? Am I going to be funny? Or am I just going to be like, okay, you're just normal now, so yeah. Like, I don't know. I feel like sometimes I do hold on to the fat person that I am, you know, because it's easier.
Not trying to get emotional, sorry.
Well, you know, it is something that we know, and that's kind of an interesting point. I think that a lot of us, when we were heavier, for however long we were heavy, we held on to it for a reason, and maybe multiple reasons, you know, and that it was a comfortable feeling to say, well, I know no one will look at me because I'm overweight, and that's fine with me. You know, I had a bad divorce, and so I was kind of like thinking to myself, well, I know no one will look at me, and I'm safe. I'll be invisible, you know, being overweight. And it worked. It really did work. I didn't have to deal with the aspect of relationships and dating and, you know, all that, because I didn't really want to do it anyway. And I was raising my kids. I'm like, well, I'm busy. You know,
Right.
I'll find other things to do, which I did find a lot of things to do. But, you know, part of that was just to get bigger until the point where my health was really bad, and I realized I really don't want to live like this anymore. You know, it doesn't matter what chances I take in life moving forward with relationships or whatever, it's got to be better than this, because I'm just slowly killing myself, you know, with my health problems and you know, just pain and not being able to get around the way I want to, not being able to tie my shoes, having people help me with my shoes, stuff like that. That's, you know, I just thought, you know, you have really gone too far. And look what you have done to yourself. Same thing, Alicia. I look in the mirror sometimes and I say, this is what you've done to yourself, you know, and all the plastics in the world isn't going to fix all of it, because you can't fix all of it. You know?
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah,
it's true.
yeah, I mean, I look in the mirror now, and I was like, oh my God, look what you have done to your body. I mean, you've destroyed your body. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, sure, I'm 183 pounds now, but I don't look like a normal 183 pound man. I mean, I got, I got skin, and it just hangs there, and I've got, skin up in the chest area, and it's like, ugh. And that's the mental struggles that I'm going through now is, sure, I know I'm thin. Deep down inside, I
Right.
know I'm thin. But when I look at myself, I see the damage that I have done to myself. And
Exactly.
that is, and that is something, and it helps me. I call it mirror time. I will get out of the shower and I will stand in front of the mirror and I will find something that I like
Right.
and or something that has improved. I committed on my 1 year surgery. I was going to do a skin video. I did a skin video on my 1 year and on my 18-month, and I'm going to do another one on my 2 year, just
Right.
so I can see the progression of my skin. My wife tells me all the time that it has tightened up some.
Yeah.
And now, I'm glad that I did those videos, because I had those videos now to go back and look at to be able to see how much it has drawn in.
Right.
But,
And that's another
I
thing.
look,
Oh, go ahead.
no, so I look in the mirror all the
Yeah.
time and say, okay, well, sure, you wrecked your body, but look at what has happened now. Look where you look how far you have come.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think was it yesterday I was watching The Naked Truth, and I remember Jennifer Bleacher saying that you have lost more than what she weighs, and it's like it's and it's funny, like, that we look at it like that. It's like, how much. I mean, my son, to think I've lost more than what he weighs. He's almost 19 and he weighs like 155 or something like that. But he's a little skinny thing. But to think I've almost lost. I'm like 10 pounds away from 200 pounds, and I'm like, that is crazy to me. That is crazy to me. So when I sit here and I think about I haven't done good enough, like, that's the mental part telling me that you've not done good enough. You haven't done good enough, and so I think about it as like, is it ever going to be good enough for me?
There you go.
Probably not.
That's it, right there.
Exactly.
That's it.
And that's something
Probably it'll probably
that you will have to work on.
Yeah, because I'm like, what will be good enough?
That's it. That's
You know?
exactly right.
My goal is to lose
When
another
do you
100
come to the point to accept yourself?
yeah.
That's the bottom line.
Because I've had a lot of other people who are very accepting. I mean, I have people who were accepting of me when I was 500 pounds. They still accepted me, you know, but I never accepted myself.
That's
Like,
it.
and now it's like, as the weight comes off, I have to deal with me, and I can't use. I was talking to one of my friends today, and I was like, I can't use that excuse anymore of, well, no, I can't do this because I'm just too big, you know. I can't do it, or I don't want to do that because I won't be able to walk up the stairs, or I won't be able to sit in a chair. And
Right.
today, I was leaving the school where we were doing Zumba, and I walked by the window, and I was like, who is that? And I literally had to take a second look and realize that that was me. I had not looked at myself, like really looked at myself in clothes, walking by a window, a mirror, or whatever, since I had my paniculectomy. Like, I didn't realize that my stomach was like, it really wasn't there. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I have not accepted where I'm at, and that's why I post a lot of pictures and a lot of, you know,
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe it. Because if I
Yeah.
don't see it, it hasn't really happened, you know?
Right. That's right. And self-acceptance is very tough. It's tough,
It really is.
especially when our expectations are set at a certain place.
Yeah. We have a couple of comments here. Penny R says, hi, everyone. Carol Williamson, she's watching. We're very happy. She says, hey, everyone. Like Zen, I was not overweight until well into adulthood. Um, and then Tracy Serrano says, I'm so glad that you're talking about this. This issue is so hard for me. And I think, like I said, I think it's really hard for a lot of people, and I think it's everyone. I don't think, you know, on this panel here, the only one who hasn't had the weight loss surgery is Pamela, and I think it doesn't matter. Like, and that's the thing, is it doesn't matter whether you've had weight loss surgery or not had weight loss surgery. I think just, you know, you coming from a point, us coming from a point, we all have the mental struggles. We all struggle mentally, you know?
Exactly.
We all have that lack of self-acceptance.
I mean, I like to look at it like, you know, I don't necessarily like divide, you know, there's a weight loss surgery people and the weight loss people. Like, we're all the same to me. Like, we're all in the same boat. You know, we all struggle. We all have the same struggles. I mean, I feel like I have the same struggles as Pamela has, you know? I mean, we've obviously found that out tonight,
Right.
Right.
you know? So,
Yeah,
Michael.
I look at all of us like that too. So.
Michael, let me just say this. I know that you've been very, you know, present in the community, and you've talked a lot about your struggles, and you're very open to talk to us about your struggles, and I think that that's why a lot of people do, you know, can really understand where you're coming from, you know.
Mhm.
I think it's important. I think for a person to say, yeah, I'm struggling, I'm, you know, and stuff. I think that's really important. I mean, I've seen it. You're always there. Like, you are always there for people. I just don't,
Yeah.
you know,
I
and
mean,
I'm
and
like, you're constantly there for people. You're there for everyone. And it's like, how do you do it? You know, how do you do it?
I just, I don't like to see people struggle. Some days I wish I could take my own advice that I give out.
Amen.
But I see someone struggling. I see someone struggling with food or with image issues. And it just makes me want to reach out to them. and just give them a big hug to start with and say, hey, it's going to be okay. Look where you come from. Look what you've already done. I mean, you know, even if you haven't had weight loss, I mean, it's, you know, look where you have come from. Look where you're at now. I mean, you're in a better place physically and sometimes mentally better than where you came from. And, you know, people just need to remember that.
Right. And you know, I think another thing is like when you get to a point, it's like, I think mentally it's for me it's been hard, like, how do I eat? You know, what should I eat? How do I eat? You know, I know at the beginning it's like, you know, protein, 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 you know, get your protein in your water and that kind of stuff. But then you get to a point where, you know, you got to find what works and what doesn't for you. And for me, that's mentally tough because I tend to go back to before I had, because it's just, that's what I know. You know,
Exactly.
That's what I know.
Well, I've on that topic there, on that struggle, in the beginning I was like, okay, I've got to change everything up. This, you know, I've got to do this, I've got to do this, I've got to eat this, right, and these smaller portions. And then I got to a point, it's like, whoa, wait a minute. You know, I never stopped cooking for my family.
Yeah.
And I just changed what they ate. I
Right.
gave them the healthier options, and I never looked at it as a diet.
Mm-hmm.
It was always just a lifestyle change. And then when it really snapped for me is when I decided, okay, this is just going to be how we're going to eat for life, and I'm going to eat a balanced meal.
Right.
Sure, I'm going to eat my protein first because I know I'm going to get fuller, but, you know, I'm still going to have potatoes. I'm still going to eat rice. I'm still going to eat pasta. I mean, that is still on my plate. I still have my vegetables. You know, sure, I'm not making, you know, 2 pasta dishes and a protein meal. You know, I'll throw in, you know, the starch and the vegetable and a protein, and I will eat a little bit of all of it. You know, when you get to the point where you know that you can have a whole rounded meal, like we should have been eating all along, really.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
You're right.
I see so many people who struggle with, oh, the diet that I'm on. It's like, it's not a diet.
Mm-hmm.
It is, you know, diets come and go. Diets, I mean, you're on diets for short periods of time. This is the rest of your life. This is the way you need to live your life. You need to live and be able to know what to eat and how to eat and how much.
Yeah. And I think is looking at it, and you know, you want to change things, especially for your family or the ones that you cook for and stuff like that. You know, especially like us who have kids. Now I know, you know, Pamela, you don't have kids, and so it's, you know, you and your husband, and well, you have kids, but they're just fur babies.
Right.
That's a little different. But I mean, how do you deal with the food, the whole food? Because I know for a fact that you've struggled with the food, like you struggle with the food stuff and where, you know, what you're doing and stuff. So how does that, like, mentally, I know that's a big mental struggle for you, and just a struggle. How do you deal with that?
Well, my husband and I, we both eat differently. I eat mainly vegan, and he does not eat that way. He likes a lot of snack type foods and stuff like that. It's difficult to have that kind of stuff in the house because I want to eat that. But my main thing this entire 2014 has been lose 10, maybe 15 pounds, and then freak out because I'm starting to lose weight again, and then self-sabotage myself and start binge eating Taco Bell or whatever it may be. And it's been constant. Like every few weeks I've been doing this to myself this entire year.
Yeah.
And I've been acknowledging it since, like, I guess October maybe. And I know I know what I need to do. I just don't know why I can't make myself do it. I'm so afraid to, like, lose my weight.
Yeah, I think that it comes a mental struggle with that too. I mean, like that struggle for me is there. Like I know what I should do, and I know what I need to do,
Mm-hmm.
but mentally, it's like it's
Yeah.
okay.
Sorry. I'm an emotional bag of goo.
Right?
I'm so sorry.
It's kind of like you kind of have to ask yourself, what do you think is going to happen if you lose the weight?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What could be the worst thing that happens if you lose the weight? And kind of have to answer that question for yourself in your own head, not necessarily out loud. But
It's like
isn't that
if
what it comes down to?
Yes, it is.
if I like acceptance, accepting and actually liking myself. I don't know what it's like to actually like myself, you know. And I see a lot of people who are like we like to compare ourselves a lot. I think it's just human nature that we compare ourselves to each other. And um, I um, I I see people who just look absolutely amazing and they're getting out and they're living life and they're just like one of my friends, well, I know that she's a friend of me and Michael's, um, and I don't really want to, well, Melissa, Mama Mia, she went out with her husband and, to his work party, and she just looked absolutely amazing, and she had the best time, and it's like, it made my heart so happy. Like it really made my heart so happy when I see people who are out and they're living their lives, And it's like I don't know, I guess in a way when I see people like her and a lot of other people, I'm just using her as an example because she is a friend of mine and I adore her. And just to see her so happy, it reminds myself of being able to get up and go out and do something, even if it's something that makes me happy, you know and just not thinking about it, just saying I can do this, and not making every excuse not to do it. you
Right?
know it's
Testing the water. It's time to test the water sometimes when you're, haven't done things, making yourself get past that line, taking yourself put that toe in, take it out. Put the toe back in, take it out. Got to jump in with both feet sometimes.
It's like it's scary. It's like, what are people gonna say about me? Are people gonna look at me? Tonight I went to help a friend out with some the Zumba class, and I'm afraid because there's kids there, and it's at an elementary school, and kids can be, not they don't mean to be, but kids just say what kids think, whatever they feel, that's what they say, and I'm scared. I'm like, oh my gosh, these kids are going to be like, oh my gosh, look at her, she's so big, because I've gotten that my whole life when my son was growing up. And I went in there, these kids didn't give me a second, like, ugh, look, they were just like I was normal. And I'm like, what is that all about? Like, is that really happening? I mean, it just, I think doing things that I have told myself so long I can't do. I think that's huge for us, losing weight, and we start to do things that we're not used to doing, and it's scary.
It is scary sometimes.
You've got to step out of that
Comfort
old
zone.
mindset. You got to step out, your comfort zone,
Yeah.
and say, okay, I can do this.
Yeah.
Or at least I'm going to try.
I'm going to try. Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm going.
I think that's the thing. I'm a very impulsive person, and that is kind of like, it's a good thing for me, but it's a bad thing for me, because I'm just like, well, maybe it's not a bad thing, but for me, I do things, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this. No, I signed up for my first 5K that's coming up in March. I don't even know why. Like, I know why, but right now I'm thinking, what did I do? Because I have people who are gonna walk with me, so it's like I can't back out.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
And you can do it.
Oh,
Yeah,
exactly.
You
I
can do it.
I'm like I'm gonna do this, and that's gonna be like the hardest thing I've ever done up to this point, you know. So I mean, it's like I guess there's things that I'm not gonna let this, like, my mental state of what, because if I think too much, I won't do it. You know.
Exactly.
I
You
think
gotta
if you
get past
think
the
too
what
much
ifs.
about it.
Yeah, a lot of overthinking. Overthinking just makes things more complicated and harder.
Yeah.
You know, if you put more pressure on yourself
Hmm.
than what it really is, it's like the kid that doesn't want to get a shot, you know. They
Yeah.
finally get the shot. Oh, that wasn't bad, right? And they're having a tantrum and a meltdown and all that right in front of you for a long time until you know, snap them out of it and say, look, it's already done. You just had the shot. You didn't even know it.
Exactly. You know, so that's big for me and stuff. So the question I have for you guys is, what's one thing that you want to do, but mentally you don't think that you can do it? Like, you know what I mean? Like, mentally you're like, oh, I can't. There's no way. Like, that you think too much about it, but you're like, you know you can do it, but mentally you can't. What's that one thing that really that you think about? I know you all got it, so don't try to say you don't. Let's start with Michael, because I know he's over there dying. Like, I know what it is.
Okay. We go out a couple times a month with Jen and Andrew, VSG Fat Bottom Girl that lives
Okay,
here in
yeah.
Houston. I go out with them. Me and Andrew go out with them to do karaoke, to a karaoke bar, and I sit there. It's like, okay, I want to get up there and do it. And a couple weeks ago, she just signed me up, and I got up there and I sang with her, and it was like, after it was over, it was like, that really wasn't such a big deal.
Right.
I mean, I can do that. And then you know, the whole next week I say, okay, we're gonna go out again on Friday night, and I'm gonna get up there and sing again. Well, Friday night came around, and I sat there in the chair, and I overthought it,
Mm-hmm.
and I got to the point, nah, I'm not going to, you know. Andrew would say, come on, you know, what are you gonna sing? I was like, oh, I haven't drank enough, you know, I ain't getting up there singing. You know, but the whole time on the inside, it's like, okay, why don't I just go do it? Just go, get up and go do it. I enjoy doing it. I have fun while I'm up there, but it's that whole overthinking, because, you know, everyone's looking at me and, oh my God, the fat guy's up on stage, but I'm not fat no more, but I still think I am. And it's the mental, the war that goes on in my head the whole time, the back and forth.
But then you turn into, when that happens, it's like, I know what you mean, because then you turn into that 400-pound guy that you used to be, right?
Exactly.
You're like, that's who I am right now. And yeah. So you know what? We're gonna all cheer you on, Michael. We're gonna cheer you on, and we're all gonna be behind you, and you're gonna do it. I know you are. Because you know I'll be a pain in your ass until you do it.
I'll have to video it and put it out there.
Yeah, definitely. So what about you, Pamela?
I guess, I mean, I'm ready to kind of jump back in and start losing weight again. But my biggest thing is, like, I just feel like I'm never going to get to a point where I'm going to, like, let myself lose all my weight.
Yeah.
And I don't know. That's just my biggest thing. Like, I just don't know if I'm ever going to be okay with myself and, like,
But
let myself.
is there something like I said, I'm gonna do the 5K that that I never thought I could do. Michael he is going to sing karaoke. Um, and then, but is there something there's got to be something that you want to do that you're
Yeah.
like that you don't do because mentally you overthink it.
Well, like I have a lot of like social anxiety.
Mhm.
I don't go out hardly at all. The friends that I do have, I'm always like, telling them no every time they ask me to go out. So like, I wish I could get to a point where like I'm comfortable enough with myself to like be able to make friends and go out into the world and have fun and live my life and not,
Right.
just like I stay at home all the time or whatever. But that would be my biggest thing. I did a race last year, like I did a 15K, and I signed up for a half marathon in March, and I'm not anywhere ready for this half marathon, but I've committed to it. I'm doing it with someone else, so I'm gonna do it. It's just, I don't know. I guess just the social aspects of it. I'm just scared to death to make friends. That sounds so weird, but you know what I mean. And like
Yeah.
go out, not
Yeah.
comfortable enough with myself.
I always say I don't have friends. Like I always say I don't have friends, but you know what? I have so many friends.
Mm-hmm.
It's insane, but like I always say, I convince myself I don't have friends. That nobody loves me. Nobody, cares about me. But I still know that's not true. It's like it just isn't and stuff. And I know you can do that half marathon because I'm doing the 5K in March too. So
And then I'm doing a
Do it.
5K in January.
yay!
Awesome. We
Yep,
Yeah.
got
actually, when we get off here tonight, I'm going out running, and then I'm meeting
Alright.
Jen a couple of times this week. We're running because we're going to run there's a 5K chocolate run. Go ahead.
sounds delicious.
Chocolate run.
Take that in. There's supposed to be a chocolate buffet at the end of this race,
Oh,
and
Lord.
of course that's the reason why I'm doing it. But yeah, and so looks like we're all going to be running.
Well, I'm going to have to talk to Jen because I am friends with her on Facebook. So I'm going to have to talk to Jen about reminding you when you guys go to karaoke, just mentioning my name before when you guys get there. Be like, remember what Alicia said? So what about you, Zen? I know you got something that you are just dying to do.
Well, I don't know. I don't really have just like a thing that I'm dying to do. I would like to feel comfortable wearing a bathing suit. I mean, that's one thing I would like to feel comfortable doing.
Living in California, I
Well, I
mean,
do wear bathing suits, but I mean a more revealing type bathing suit.
okay.
So
Okay.
that, and the other thing is that I have a lot of friends that I don't necessarily hang out all the time. And I meet people easily. I'm talkative, well, just a little. And
No,
but the thing is that I don't let very many people get close to me.
right.
I keep my distance, and I think that has something to do with me protecting myself.
Yeah.
And so I would like to get to the point where I would feel less guarded. Maybe that's something I'm looking forward to. When I'm on a casual level with people, it's all good. We can talk about anything, but then when it gets to a more closer type of relationship, I sort of like, I
Right.
just kind of like step back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I step back.
Yeah.
I step back big time. So I think that's the reason that, I've remained the way I have for as long as I have, because I'm just like that.
Yeah.
Not so close. Back up.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not backing up? I'm backing up.
Yeah.
I'm just like you on that one. I have all kinds of friends, and I can talk to anyone for hours and hours. But when you start getting to that close point, it's oh, wait a minute.
Right.
I'm gonna back up. I'm gonna withdraw.
Yeah. Yeah. It for me, it's like it's on my terms, you know. If you're
Yeah.
getting a little too close, it's like, okay, uh, yeah, it's
Yeah.
like it has to shut off. Like it just, yeah. I think it sounds like all of us kind of battle with that.
Yeah, I think that it stems from, so if you feel that someone knows you too well, they can use things against you to hurt you.
Yeah.
So that's when you put the barrier up. It's like, oh, well, they could use this against me if they knew this about me.
Yeah.
My vulnerabilities, right?
Vulnerabilities.
I
I don't
think
want
it's
them to know my real struggles.
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And like
Because they can hurt me with those.
yeah.
Right.
It's like I don't care if someone calls me a name. I don't care. You know, like I'm always saying, "Oh, I don't care if they're saying mean things to me," but I do care. Like I
Of
do,
course.
you
Of
know,
course we do.
and
It
so
hurts.
it does.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So, we have another comment from PJ Jenkinson. She said, "I can relate with everything you're saying. I wonder if my brain is going to catch up with the skinny me. When my husband and I go to the buffet, I load up my plate like I always used to and my husband just laughs when I take 2 bites and I'm done. He sees it and I don't. It scares me that I will never get over that fat girl mentality."
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
You know, I think, were we talking about this the other day, Michael? We were talking about how, you know, we used to go to fast food or restaurants, and it's like you get all this food, and even now, you still will order or get way more than you
Way
can
more
eat.
than what I can actually eat.
And then you're like, what did I do? Why did I buy that extra whatever? Like,
Yep.
why did I do that? Because I can't even eat it.
Right.
You know, for me, sometimes it's just buying because that's what I used to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not even about actually eating it, but it's like
Right.
buying it.
And even if it's healthy, it doesn't matter. Just
Yeah.
buying it
Yeah.
and having it.
Yeah. But yeah, me and Michael were talking about this exact same thing the other day. You know,
Mhm.
and it's like I don't ever think that we get over that fat mentality. Like it's always there. You know, it's always there. And I think even, like, I think the hardest part is that, you know, you've had weight loss surgery and you think, you know, for the people who have had weight loss surgery and your stomach is like, well, mine is like the size of an egg and, you know, your guys' is like, what, like a banana, I'll say.
Small
Ours is
banana.
a banana.
A
The
small
banana.
banana.
A small banana.
A very small banana. But, you know, we can't eat even close to what we used to, but
Nowhere
it's
near.
like, but you still, I don't know. I think that at times there's ways we find ways to cheat.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I
That
mean, I can totally eat around my sleeve.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
We
mean,
can all do that.
there's certain foods that I know I can eat, and I can eat a crap ton of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
No doubt.
And have I done it? Sure, I've done it.
Oh yeah.
Have I realized I did it and stopped it? Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I can definitely binge.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's you know, it's frustrating because it's like you get to a point, you know, in your journey or after you've had weight loss surgery and you realize you're just like,
Everyone else.
it's we're like everyone else. You know, it doesn't. You know, I don't want, like, I honestly don't want to be defined as the girl who had weight loss surgery. You know,
Exactly.
like
Exactly.
I'm not just the person who has had weight loss surgery. Like I'm still struggling with my food. You know, I still struggle. Do I want to go to Taco Bell? Yes.
I don't. At least I mastered that.
Okay. Well, you don't, but I do. Pam, you know, I'm just messing with you.
Yeah.
I do love me some Taco Bell. I gotta say that, but you know, it's just like I struggle. You go down the street and there's like how many restaurants, you know? It's like I struggle. I have to like put blinders on
Mm-hmm.
because even at 18 months out, I'm like,
Oh,
I could so eat that. I could
Right.
so.
Well, on the other part is also that after a point, the body, for me anyway, the body, even if you're eating the same healthy food and working out, you
Right.
start gaining because the body adjusts itself to the new set point
Yeah.
where you are,
Exactly.
and you have to change and in order to maintain, or you start to gain. And it's
Yeah.
very scary, very, very scary. And for all the new people out there who don't know that that is coming, and maybe it's just for those over 29, you know, I'm 39. Yeah, forever. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe it's just those people that have more of an issue of it than others. I don't know, but it's a very sad state of affairs, and it's very shocking to think that you can still be eating 1,200 or less calories and gaining weight. That's
Exactly.
scary.
You've got to change that up, either, increasing the calories or decreasing the calories, and it's a steady roller coaster to find that happy point.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
and
You
it's
know,
very scary.
people sometimes say, "Well, how many calories do you eat?" It's like between 1,000 and 1,200, and that's it. But you can still, I mean, you could still eat that, but eat the wrong, all the wrong stuff, or your body starts getting used to stuff, and so you have to change stuff up. So I think it's a constant, kind of roller coaster. You have to keep changing things up, and
Yeah.
you
But
know,
that messes with your mind big time. You know, hey, I'm not doing anything wrong, and I'm going the wrong direction.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
wow,
yeah.
really?
And I heard I was it was something that I seen someone on Facebook say in one of the like bariatric groups. They asked a question, if the mental part ever gets easier, and it's like and someone had the nerve to say, oh yeah, it gets easier after surgery. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's
Mm.
so much harder. Like
It
when you start losing weight or you have the surgery, it's so much harder.
it never gets easier, just gets different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, wow, that was a quick hour. That was crazy. I can't believe it's been an hour already. And, I mean, we could probably talk another hour on this topic and then some. You know, I really hope you guys enjoyed the show, and just, I want to thank Michael for being on, and I really am glad that he was on because I know, like I told him yesterday, I know that you have so much to say on this topic,
Oh,
and
this
it's
topic
just,
and so
I
many
think,
more.
oh yeah, I just think that the mental part of just losing weight, trying to get to where we want to be it's never ending. And as you see, some of us here have had weight loss surgery and some of us haven't, and it's still I think we all struggle with the same thing,
Oh, most
and stuff.
definitely.
So I just really encourage everyone out there to just be there and be an ear and help the next person. I've had many people reach out to me, and like I said last week, Michael reached out to me when I was just like, I'm done, I don't know what else to do, and he just called me and said, yeah, I don't think so. He was not letting me go there, and stuff. So I just really encourage you just to, because honestly, you don't know how much you'll help that next person, you just don't realize how much the words that you say will help someone. So I just really encourage people just to, reach out when they're seeing someone in trouble and someone just need that extra, boost just to help them. Um,
Pay it
so
forward.
yeah, it's all about that. We gotta be this community has to help each other and stuff. So thank you once again, Michael, and I hope maybe you'll join us on a future show. That would be wonderful. You
Anytime.
know, you never know. So, anyway, I just, I'm really happy that we talked about this tonight, and yeah, so we will see you next week. Talk to you later.
Ciao.
Bye.
Bye.